Hey, so I'm shooting this podcast for the very first time. It's going to be called Friends and Well Done. I've wanted to do a podcast for quite a while. It's been on in the back burners. So I've had a mic for maybe a few months. I went and bought a little small webcam, so I'm shooting it actually on my laptop. But anyway, none of that matters really. But I've just been it's been on my heart for a while. Something I've been wanting to do. But one of the topics I wanted to cover on this very first podcast was I talk to a lot of people a lot of times, and they're always like, the customer won't pay. So I'm leaving my industry. The customer, nobody wants to pay my prices, and I'm already a little bit higher than, everybody else in the industry, or I'm right there in the middle or something like that. And, I'm trying to be, usually they're a little bit higher. And so that's why they feel that no one pays. And so I'm here today to say that it's a mindset thing, right? I don't know who came up with the pricing structure for every industry that's out there, right? Whether it's lawn care, irrigation, what we're in, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, garage doors, all the home services, right? There's an industry, right? And if you go outside of that industry and you charge inside of the industry and you decide that you want to charge more, they will come out of the woodworks to dog you out. You're crazy. You're screwing the customer over. How could you do that? You'll hear it all. You'll hear everything, right? It can't be done that way. You're charging too much, whatever, right? Anything you could think of, and any name that you could think of that they're going to call you, they'll call you that name once you decide. If you tell the industry what you're going to do, right? I always say, don't worry about the industry, right? The industry that you're in is actually irrelevant to you, right? And your business, you're going to set your business up to be profitable. You're going to set your business up to work the way that you want it to work in order to serve clients well, in order to have your contractors that work for you or your employees that work for you to be paid well and taken care of. And so those are the things that matter to you and not what the industry says that you should charge. Some groups, some industries have, best practice groups. So those are always good. You can learn a lot from those groups and you can still do your own thing. But in a lot of industries, there are no best practices groups. There are some that'll pop up here and there, but even those are not telling you to actually charge a lot of times what you need to charge to actually be in business, because they are basing their pricing on the industry and not what the market will bear, right? And so when you come and you make a decision that you're going to charge what it takes to stay in business and make sense for you to make money, for you to be able to pay all the things that it takes to run a business, then you will then base your pricing on the market and not the industry. And what is the difference between pricing for the market and pricing for the industry? Let's say the industry says that you can only charge, $25 for this thing. But you go out and you charge $150 or $200 for that same thing. And the customers pay it and they pay it happily. Well, then the market says that the market will pay your $150 or $200, even though the industry says we can only charge this much. And so when the industry tells you that and the market tells you what it told you, go with the market, right? And the market will always pay way more than your industry says that it will. And you'll have a lot of people that'll come in and be like, oh, the industry is screwy and people don't know what they're doing, and they'll dog out their own industry. I'm not a fan of dogging out your own industry. People are going to do what they're going to do, right? It's your job when you go out and you serve a client, you're marketing, you're putting out your flyers, you're putting out your information, you're doing your very best to get as many clients as you possibly can in order to save the market from those people that you say are not doing, the industry standard or the very best practices for the customer. Sure, there's bad apples, right? But the majority of people out there are actually just trying to do something that they enjoy to do. They just don't know how to charge enough for it, or they're very good with their hands and they know how to do all the things, but they don't know how to actually say, hey, this is what it costs to do this, and then I want to make enough profit on top of that to be able to pay all of my overhead, all of my expenses, all of my labor, all the things. And then I still want to have a good amount of money that I can put into my own bank account, right? Leave some money into the business and then do my own withdrawal or pay myself payroll or whatever that looks like in your business. And you make a good substantial amount of money, and you do it in a way where you don't have to build a super high revenue to do that. Right? In a lot of cases, let's say, hey, you got to build a 5 or 10 or 15, 20, $100 million company. That's great if that's what you want to do, right? But I always say, you know, those guys are going to be, those are some true operators right there. Most of us are just trying to get by, right? And so I'm kind of more speaking to the ones that want to get by. If you want to, you know, shoot for the stars, more power to you. Go for it, right? But know that the bigger you get, the more headaches come, right? The more employees you have to get, the more trucks you have to get, the more CSRs you have to get. Yes, AI will help with some of those things, but a lot of headache. You've got to build culture, right? You've got to get A players versus B players, or you got to get B players and build them into A players, right? You've got to let the C players go quickly or never hire them. You've got to set up a whole HR department. You've got to set up a hiring process. You've got to set up culture. You've got to set up dream management. You've got to set up all these things, right? That you still have to set up on a smaller scale, but you're talking, you know, 5, 10 guys versus 100, 200, 300 employees, right? 50, whatever that number looks like. The higher the ticket, obviously, the less customers you have to serve in order to get big numbers. But if you're in a low ticket service, you've got to do a lot of quantity in order to make, you know, big numbers. And so my thing is, if you can find a service where you can generate, you know, and let's be honest, man, a lot of times we think that certain industries will charge a lot, they're charging a whole lot, and when you really break it down versus your prices, you realize, man, they actually, when you know what you're supposed to charge, a lot of times even the bigger companies are not really charging, you know, what they should be charging, right, in order to get the profit that needs to happen. Because most of us all started our business to make money, right? We wanted to get out of the workforce, and we didn't like our bosses anymore, and we wanted to do our own thing. And so, but ultimately we wanted to be free and we wanted to make money, right? And so, but somewhere along the way, we decided that we don't want to make any money and we don't want to be free, right? Or we do want to be free and we don't want to make any money, right? But in most cases, like, I want to just, at least I'll get to, you know, stop when I want to stop, but I don't make no money, but I can clock out whenever. Right, and then you have unhappy customers and all the things because you're not serving them well, because you don't have any processes and procedures in place, right? And so there's a whole bunch of things that go along with that. But yeah, I just really wanted to, you know, quick video, just understand that the industry and the market are two different things. I always hear it all the time. People saying that the customers won't pay that thing, and that's just a belief issue. Customers will pay. You've just got to go out there and build a sales process, find the right customers, right, that are willing to pay. A lot of times we're in the wrong market. We're trying to serve the wrong people. But if you go into the right market, you find the right marketing, you have a good brand, you're putting your information out there that people can find you easily, you are able to then go and charge premium prices, right? One thing that you can put into your mind is if you had to raise your prices and you raise your prices and you knew that you could not lower your prices, what would you have to do? And the answer is you would have to raise the level of service to accommodate that price. So that's it for the day. Super quick, guys. This is my very first one, so hopefully they'll get better. Maybe I'll get better video quality. Hopefully my audio was good. I'll get better audio over time. But this is Friends of Well Done. Thanks for watching.